Yo, what's up everyone? Let's talk money. Specifically, who has it and who doesn't. Here's a reality check. The richest 1% of the world's population holds more wealth than the bottom 6.9 billion combined. Let that sink in for a second. It's messed up, right? We hear about billionaires and their private jets, but what about the billions struggling to put food on the table? It's a tale of two realities, and it's time we break it down. This isn't just about numbers, it's about people. It's about understanding that the gap between the haves and the have-nots is wider than ever. And it's about time we start asking some serious questions about economic inequality. So, what does it really mean to be rich or poor? Is it about the car you drive, the clothes you wear, the size of your house? Here's the thing, it's way more complicated than that. We're bombarded with images of wealth and success, but those images don't always reflect reality. The truth is, the line between rich and poor is blurry. It's not always about how much money you have in the bank, but how far that money goes. We need to ditch the one-size-fits-all definition of wealth because it simply doesn't exist. Your income, your lifestyle, your location, all these factors play a role in determining your financial standing. Let's talk geography. Where you live isn't just a dot on a map, it's a powerful force that shapes your daily life, your opportunities, and even how you see yourself in the world. Geography is more than just physical location. It's about the environment, the culture, and the community that surrounds you. The place you call home can influence everything from your career prospects to your social life, and especially your relationship with money. Believe it or not, where you live can drastically impact your perception of wealth. The same amount of money can mean very different things depending on your surroundings. In some places, a modest income stretches far, allowing for a comfortable lifestyle, while in others, even a high salary might not go as far as you'd expect. The local economy, job market, and even the weather can play a role in how far your money goes and how you feel about your financial situation. A six-figure salary might make you feel like a king in some parts of the world, while in others, it barely covers the rent. Imagine earning $100,000 a year in a small town where housing is cheap and daily expenses are low. You might have a spacious home, a nice car, and plenty left over for travel or savings. But take that same salary to a major city like New York, London, or Tokyo, and suddenly, most of it disappears into rent, transportation, and higher costs for everything from groceries to entertainment. Think about it. The cost of living, access to resources, and even cultural norms around money vary greatly from place to place. In some cultures, wealth is measured by material possessions, while in others, it's about community, experiences, or even free time. The price of everyday items, the availability of fresh food, and the quality of public services can all influence how wealthy or secure you feel, regardless of your actual income. A family living comfortably on $50,000 a year in rural America might struggle to make ends meet on the same income in New York City. In a small town, that money could cover a mortgage, utilities, groceries, and even leave room for savings or a family vacation. But in a big city, high rent, transportation costs, and expensive childcare can quickly eat up that same paycheck, leaving little left over at the end of the month. The difference isn't just in the numbers, it's in the lived experience of what that money can actually buy. It's not just about countries either. Even within the same country, the cost of living can vary wildly from city to city, neighborhood to neighborhood. In one part of town you might find luxury condos and high-end shops, while just a few blocks away, families are stretching every dollar. Local taxes, school quality, and access to public transportation can all make a huge difference in your day-to-day life and your sense of financial well-being. So before you label yourself as rich or poor, consider the context of your location. Your sense of wealth isn't just about the numbers in your bank account, it's about what those numbers mean where you live. The next time you compare your situation to someone else's, remember that geography plays a huge role in shaping our financial realities. Where you live truly matters, and understanding that can help you make smarter decisions about your money, your goals, and your future. Let's take a trip around the world, shall we? Imagine for a moment that you could step into the shoes of someone living in a completely different place with a completely different life. What would you see? What would you feel? The world is vast, and every corner tells a unique story about what it means to live, to survive, and to dream. In Norway, a country often celebrated for its breathtaking fjords and progressive society, the average annual income is around $68,000. Here, people enjoy universal healthcare, free education, and a strong social safety net. Families gather around dinner tables in warm, well-lit homes, and the streets are clean and safe. Opportunities seem abundant, and the future feels secure for most. Now let's hop over to the Democratic Republic of Congo, a country rich in natural resources but facing immense challenges. Here, the average person makes a meager $550 a year. Life is a daily struggle, with many families living in simple homes, often without access to clean water or reliable electricity. Children help their parents with chores, and every dollar earned is stretched to its limit. Imagine that for a second, living on less than $2 a day. Every meal is a question mark, and every expense is a careful calculation. The things many take for granted, like a full plate of food or a safe place to sleep, become precious luxuries. That's the reality for millions of people around the globe. In crowded cities and remote villages alike, families face the daily challenge of making ends meet. Some wait in long lines for food aid, while others rely on the generosity of neighbors or distant relatives just to get by. For many, life is about surviving, not thriving. Hard work is a necessity, not a choice. Whether it's toiling in the fields under the hot sun, selling goods in a bustling market, or sharing a small meal with family, every day is a test of resilience and hope. Yet, even in the toughest circumstances, people find ways to create joy and meaning. Children play games in the streets, elders share stories, and communities come together to support one another. Sometimes the richest moments are found in the simplest acts of kindness. In some cultures, wealth isn't measured by money at all, but by the strength of family ties or the depth of community connections. Celebrations, shared meals, and traditions passed down through generations become the true treasures of life. In others, it's all about material possessions and social status. The latest gadgets, designer clothes, and luxury cars are symbols of success. For some, these things represent security and achievement, while for others, they're simply out of reach. The point is, there's no single definition of what it means to be rich or poor. It's all relative, shaped by where you live, who you're with, and what you value most. In the end, every life is a story worth telling, and every perspective adds to the rich tapestry of our world. Let's get down to brass tacks. When we talk about being rich, what do we really mean? Is it a number in your bank account, the kind of car you drive, or the neighborhood you live in? For some, being rich means never having to worry about bills, while for others, it's about having the freedom to travel, invest, or simply enjoy life without financial stress. The definition of rich is surprisingly personal and can shift dramatically depending on who you ask and where you live. In the United States, the top 1% of earners rake in over $420,000 a year. That's a staggering figure for most people, and it's often held up as the benchmark for financial success. But even this number doesn't tell the whole story. The cost of living varies wildly from city to city. What feels like wealth in a small town might barely cover expenses in a major metropolis like New York or San Francisco. Meanwhile, the bottom 20% struggle to survive on less than $25,000 a year. For these families, every dollar counts. They're making tough choices every day, between groceries and rent, medicine, and transportation. The reality is, for millions, the idea of rich is simply being able to make ends meet without constant anxiety. That's a huge gap, folks. The distance between the haves and the have-nots isn't just about numbers, it's about opportunities, security, and peace of mind. This divide shapes the way people experience life, from the schools their kids attend to the healthcare they receive. But here's the kicker, even within that top 1%, there are massive disparities. Not all millionaires feel wealthy, especially when they compare themselves to billionaires. The spectrum of wealth at the top is vast, and the lifestyle of someone with a few $1,000,000 can look modest next to those with hundreds of millions or even billions. Someone making $500,000 a year might feel rich compared to the average American, enjoying comforts and privileges that most can only dream of. They might have a beautiful home, take vacations, and save for the future. But even they can feel pressure to keep up, especially in circles where private jets and second homes are the norm. But they're practically paupers compared to a billionaire with a fleet of yachts, private jets, and homes around the world. The scale of wealth at the very top is almost unimaginable, and it can make even the well-off feel like they're just getting by. The truth is, wealth is often concentrated at the very top. A small fraction of people control a massive share of resources, assets, and opportunities. This concentration isn't just about money, it's about influence, access, and power. And that concentration of wealth can have a ripple effect on society, impacting everything from access to healthcare and education to political influence. When so much is held by so few, it shapes the world we all live in, determining who gets ahead, who gets left behind, and what rich really means in our society. So, are you rich or poor? The answer is, it depends. It depends on where you live, your lifestyle, and your own personal definition of financial well-being. Stop comparing yourself to the Joneses, because chances are, they're comparing themselves to someone else too. We're all on our own financial journeys, and it's time we stop judging ourselves based on someone else's definition of success. Instead of getting caught up in the numbers game, let's focus on what truly matters: financial security, peace of mind, and the ability to live a life that aligns with our values. That's what true wealth is all about. Now, it's time for some introspection. What does being rich or poor actually mean to you? Is it about having a big house and a fancy car? Or is it about having the freedom to pursue your passions and spend time with loved ones? Take a moment to reflect on your own relationship with money. What are your financial goals? What makes you feel secure? What makes you feel stressed? Understanding your own values and priorities is key to building a healthy relationship with money. It's not about keeping up with the Joneses, it's about creating a life that brings you joy and fulfillment. Remember, behind every statistic, there's a human story. The income gap isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet, it's about real people's lives. It's about the single mom working 3 jobs to make ends meet, the family struggling to put food on the table, the student drowning in student loan debt. We can't ignore the human cost of economic inequality. It's time we start thinking about solutions, about creating a more just and equitable society where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Let's challenge the status quo, demand systemic change, and fight for a world where everyone has a fair shot at achieving their dreams. This is just the beginning of the conversation. Financial literacy is key to understanding the complexities of wealth, poverty, and everything in between. So, do your research, ask questions, and empower yourself with knowledge. There are tons of resources available online and in your community to help you navigate the world of personal finance. From budgeting apps to financial advisors, there's something for everyone. Remember, knowledge is power. The more you know about money, the better equipped you'll be to manage your own finances and create a secure future for yourself and your loved ones. Peace out.